After a winning road trip, the Royals return home for a week and will be greeted by a king. Felix, that is, although his ERA is over 9 in his last 3 starts. Seattle will be greeted by Danny Duffy. His ERA over his last 3 starts is just a shade over 1. Hernandez and Duffy. Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from home sweet home, beautiful Kauffman Stadium, and just 2 more homestands to go for the Royals as they begin a 7-game homestand this time around against the Seattle Mariners. Hi everyone, welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and the Royals are back from a 4-2 road trip, which was highlighted by outstanding starting pitching to the tune of 1.11 against the Twins and the Blue Jays. And now today it's Danny Duffy going for his 9th career win. Felix Hernandez his 111th career win. And while you can't compare the career numbers, Danny Duffy lately has outpitched Felix Hernandez. He has not allowed an earned run over his last 12 2/3 innings, while Hernandez has really struggled in his last 5 starts. As always, we welcome in Rex Hudler. I don't think the Royals are going to go to the plate today saying this Hernandez guy's really struggling.
No, because he could be considered a great pitcher, not just a good pitcher when his stuff is on. He's brilliant. His ball moves all over the place. Now, recently you mentioned his high ERA. It's because of elevation. You know, when you elevate a pitch, those hitters aren't going to miss it. But King Felix, this is the good king. Watch him. And his court are his pitches. He's got great movement on his fastball. He's got a changeup that's electric as well. Now he's opposing a young pitcher who's just coming into his own, Danny Duffy. We saw his best performance the last time he towed the slab. Can it be less is more this time? We'll have to wait and see. He sure got it last time out.
As always, the key against a great pitcher is to get him early. Alex Gordon back in the leadoff spot is hitting .327 in his last 11 games, and that includes an 8-game hitting streak.
as yesterday for the running Royals. Gerard Dyson a pair, Emilio Bonifacio a pair, and since Bonifacio became a Royal August 15th, he is number one in the major leagues with 11 stolen bases. Gerard Dyson right behind him in that same stretch with 10. Joel Goldberg back here at Kauffman Stadium, and a contrast of offensive styles between these teams. You have the running Royals, and you have the power of the Seattle Mariners. And look at the home runs for Seattle, 157 on the year. That's fourth in the American League. The Royals have hit 94 total on the year. That's last. 87 of their homers have come on the road, but they live and die by the home run ball, 10-31 when they do not hit a homer. The Royals, on the other hand, most stolen bases in the majors, second best stolen base percentage, 122 stolen bases. The Mariners with just 40 on the season. Raul Ibanez leads the Mariners in homers with 25. He is not in the lineup today. Kyle Seager has 21. Royals will try to silence that next.
Is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Play Cadillac Riches Scratchers game and you could win a new Cadillac. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealer, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. On a beautiful Labor Day. We couldn't ask for a better day in Kansas City. Sunshine, temperature will get up into the mid-80s with a nice cool breeze blowing out of the northwest. Today's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. Well, big difference with Seattle's offense this year. A team that has struggled to score runs over the past 3 years, all of a sudden they're a home run hitting team.
They are. You know, they've moved their fences in at home, though. That's helped them a lot. But watch this guy, Kendrys Morales. Okay, watch him. He's a free-swinging Cuban, man. He can rake. So he's a guy that's been driving their bus. Keep an eye on him.
And how about Danny Duffy? He has made 3 starts. His ERA is 1.1. And he has held his opponent scoreless over his last 12 2/3 innings.
It's beautiful. How about the opponent average? That's the thing I like. No one's hitting him. It's a beautiful thing to see that. And less is more for Danny Duffy. And he found that out in his last start against, who was that?
Minnesota.
That's right, the Twins. I was going to say Twins, but I was thinking Detroit for some reason. And he was under control. He wasn't, overexcited. And therefore, he had more movement on his pitches. And he was throwing strikes. He had some early count outs. That's important for him to go deep in a game.
1-1 on rookie Brad Miller. I did not do that game with you in Minnesota, but reading about it from afar, it seemed like everybody's comments, whether it was Ned Yost, Dave Island, Salvador Perez, mound presence was part of the evaluation, the positive evaluation for Duffy in that start against the Twins.
Sure was. I'll tell you what, it was spectacular to see him under control and poised, Ryan. And we haven't seen that from him. He's like a caged animal. He goes out there and just hard. Everything's harder. But he's really under control. And if he can do that, got to get over there.
Late off the mound and got him. All those calls that went the Blue Jays' way over the weekend, maybe it's starting to even out. One batter into the game today, and it appeared that Miller beat the throw, but first base umpire Lance Barksdale said that he was out.
Just a tick slow getting off that mound was Duffy, however he got there. Now Eric Wedge, he's going to argue. See that? He did a little pirouette spin. He couldn't quite get out of the blocks. Good Duffy, but he got there with quick feet, and I think they might have an argument. He looked like the runner might have beaten him. Just barely, but hey, look. What's nice to see, though, is Eric Wedge running on and off the field.
Suffered a minor stroke on July the 22nd and was away from his team for a long time. So good to see him back in the Seattle dugout.
Yeah, he had lost his right side. Couldn't walk. So happy he's back running.
So from one rookie to another, this is Nick Franklin, who is at second base. First round pick in 2009. That was a good year for the Mariners in the draft. They have 3 players in the lineup today that were taken in 2009. Dustin Ackley, who was their highest pick. They had 2 first round picks in 09. Ackley's in the lineup. Franklin also taken in 09, as well as the hitter on deck, Kyle Seager. First time that Danny Duffy has faced the Seattle Mariners. There's not one hitter in the lineup that has seen him before, and he throws one all the way back to the screen. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Okay, but hey, look now. At least we know that the billboard signage in the back is solid, because Salvi didn't get a glove on that one, and we heard it pound right into the back of those signs. We had an incident here last homestand where in consecutive games balls went through those signs.
3-1. Duffy had all of his pitches working Wednesday at Minnesota. He had 7 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings and no walks, which is always going to be a key stat for him. As the count is full now on Nick Franklin.
Ryan, that was the most impressive thing in his last start. Not that he was poised and under control and didn't go off with his emotions. He didn't walk a batter. That was special. He challenged guys. He had a lot of 3-2 counts too, and he went right in there and challenged guys.
Another foul ball. And as impressive as he was against Minnesota on Wednesday, how about 2 starts ago? That was against the first place Tigers. He gave up 1 hit. That was game 1 of a day-night doubleheader. 1 hit, no runs against Detroit. And everyone's kind of brushing aside that first start for him against Minnesota when he went 3 2/3. He was just so excited to get back. And there's his first walk as he puts Franklin on with 1 out.
All right. Who's going to make the play today? I don't know. Put all their numbers and their positions in a hat. Draw out a number and a name, and that guy could come up with the play. David Lowe, though, has been really fun to watch. And not just the way he gets to balls and makes some spectacular plays this season. He's got a good arm. He's throwing guys out. He's got 6 outfield assists now.
Kyle Seager at the plate. And Danny's in with a fastball for a strike.
One thing that Salvador Perez doesn't have to worry about is the running game of the Seattle Mariners. They don't run at all. They got a couple of guys. Look, if they're not hitting home runs like Dave Sims, their broadcaster, was telling Nate in the pregame show, if they don't hit homers, they've got issues because they don't run. But if they do, Salvador is waiting for them. Believe me that.
They have stolen 40 bases this year. By comparison, that's 86 fewer than the Royals. So when you say they don't run at all, you're right.
Duffy's got a couple different moves. There's a step off. I was going to just tell you that one. Yeah, that's a good move there because it can get guys that are just getting off the base not paying attention, especially if you have never faced a guy before, like the Mariners have not faced Duffy.
High fastball is fouled straight back. 1-2 on Kyle Seager, who's one of those home run threats. He has 21, which is a new career high for him. He had 20 last year.
No, this guy's a baseball player. He's one of their guys with Morales that can do some damage. We're talking about the base running again. Salvador Perez is waiting with throwing out 31.6% of base runners, 18 of 57. There's a slide step. Slide step is Duffy has shown that he can do that and throw strikes and not elevate the pitch. Because sometimes when you're not used to slide step and you leave the pitch up, it gets whacked. There's Salvi.
Up the middle. Off speed, and it stayed up. Franklin will stop at second base. So with one out, a walk and a single for the Mariners.
Now the Mariners, they haven't exactly hit left-handers very well this year. They're only hitting .228 as a team against southpaws. So they've had some problems. But they are 20 and 26 versus left-handed starters this year. There's a nice hit up the middle.
Kendrys Morales, Mariners designated hitter, coming over in a trade from the Angels this past offseason. He's chipped in with 17 home runs. He has double that total in his career. That was back in 2009. He had 34 home runs for the Angels. And then May of the next season is a moment that I'm sure he's replayed in his mind a million times at least. A walk-off grand slam, wasn't it? And as he was crossing home plate, he decided to jump up and land on home plate after leaping in the air and broke his ankle. Hosmer, it's about as far as he can reach, and he just missed it. 1 ball, 1 strike on Morales.
Almost a tragic accident for Morales when he stepped on home plate. He jumped and he busted his ankle, and he had to put 6 screws in his ankle. Missed a whole year. Hosmer, nice try there, bud, because getting this guy out would be nice. He is hitting .280 against lefties with 4 of his 17 home runs coming against southpaws. But this guy, he's a natural hitter. One of the best Cuban hitters at the time when he defected and came over here. Switch hitter, both sides of the plate. Free and easy, no batting gloves. Got pop.
Last year was his first full season since the ankle injury, and he had 22 home runs. Wow. Duffy would love that if the Mariners do that all day. That's his first strikeout as Morales went way out of the strike zone. 2 down.
Did I say free swinger?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
That's taking it to another level,
it
literally.
Is. And you know what, Ryan? Having been there and done that myself on many occasions, swinging at ball of my head, it's embarrassing, especially for the strikeout. But it happens, especially when you got a flamethrower and they've never faced him before.
Now another switch hitter, Justin Smoke, and Duffy's in with a curveball for strike 1.
Smoke, he's really struggled from the right side this year. 167. No homers. He's got 14 on the season. You see that. I'd like to go down today. I tried to go down and talk to the hitting coach, Dave Hansen. Maybe Dave could tell me why he wasn't hitting lefties from the right side. However, the locker rooms were closed. There was no batting practice today. It's a holiday for everyone. So I couldn't get down there, but we'll check him out tomorrow. Get the scoop on some of his guys.
Mariners having a tough time laying off Danny's high fastball, which is good. The best they've been able to do is foul it straight back.
But he needs to get an out. He needs to finish somebody off. 23 pitches is right where as far as he wants to go. Maybe 24 here. Nice to be back home. Crowd's warm.
2-2. Felix Hernandez getting ready for the bottom of the first inning. He has had a tough go in his last 3 starts. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So that's a motivated pitcher right there. It doesn't matter the quality of a pitcher at this level. You never really want to face them after they've been embarrassed. They got a little extra motivation. But when a pitcher of his caliber has been bad in his last 3, watch out.
Hard you could use the word bad after King Felix's name.
Well, an ERA over 9.
That's bad. No, you're right. But I mean, it's just not, doesn't go hand in hand too well.
Runners go, and Duffy strikes out the last 2 hitters in the inning. So the Mariners get 2 base runners. Duffy strands both of them. No score. A 4-2 road trip. 9.5 back of Detroit, 2 games back of Cleveland. The Royals have 2 more cracks at both Cleveland and Detroit before the season is over. And as far as the wild card goes, 5.5 back in those standings. Here's how they're lined up today against Felix Hernandez.
Oh, man, let me give you the track stars right here. Okay, there could be a track star there. We know there's a star there. This guy can go. Not Billy. That's okay, but he's picking up. He's lost 12 pounds. He's getting lighter on his feet. But if they can just find a way to get on base with King Felix, that's going to be the whole key. Opponents are hitting 246 off of him. You see the innings pitched and the strikeouts? That's why they call him King. He'll strike you out. He's got tremendous movement. Really good fastball with some late life to it. You can see his last 3, though. I don't care what kind of movement you have. If you're elevated, a hitter in the big leagues is going to smell it out. and he's going to hit it. I don't care who you are and how hard you throw. That's what's happened.
Those 3 starts, by the way, add up to a 9.64 ERA, including giving up the 8 earned runs in 3 innings on Wednesday against the Rangers.
And that's the bad you were talking about. See how that sinker, it starts at the left-handed hitter and then it fades back over the plate. Big curve, really a nice changeup. It's a heavy one. Great. Moves left, moves right. Almost him and James Shields got to be at the top in that as far as that pitch goes.
Alex back up to 270 overall. He had 321 on the trip, and he drove in 6. And Zunino really wanted that one. He held it out there for Kerwin Danley, the home plate umpire, to give him a long look. 2-2.
Kerwin's in his 17th year, and if King Felix don't get that pitch the whole afternoon, he's going to be in trouble. King Felix, not Kerwin. He's the boss.
You know, another thing, you're talking about Shields and Hernandez and comparing the movement on their pitches with that Toussaint. They also have a very similar pitching motion where they have that exaggerated turn, almost turning their body completely towards second base before coming to the plate, getting a little extra torque. Off speed, and Alex pulls it foul. Still 3-2. Speaking of James Shields, how good was he yesterday with 7 scoreless innings to lead the way? Luke Hochevar and Greg Holland each pitched an inning, and the Royals beat Toronto 5-0. It was the Royals' 10th shutout of the year. Fastball at 92, and that's 195 strikeouts this year for Felix Hernandez, 3rd most in the league.
Yep, he can get you done. At least he got 7 pitches expended on him. All right, defensively behind him, the Mariners this year have been pretty good on defense. They're not bad. They're just behind Kansas City in errors. They've made 70. However, the center fielder, he's making his first career start out there. Nice looking young prospect, Abraham Almonte. Looks good. He's got speed, has a little bit of power in his game. See if he can catch him here at the K.
Strike to Bonifacio. Now Bonifacio this year hitting .233 with a .284 on base percentage. Now that's with the Blue Jays and the Royals, and it's not a big sample size since coming to KC. We're only talking about 18 games as he goes down after a foul ball. But with the Royals, he is hitting .297, and with his speed, you just want him on base. His on base percentage since joining the Royals is .384. That makes him a completely different player.
Not to mention he's 11 for 11 in bags with the Royals. But that might slow him down a little. That foul ball he hit off of the bunion of his right toe. Look at that. On base percentage with that kind of speed, that's going to work.
Got the call this time. 3 pitches. Down goes Bonifacio, and Hernandez opens his outing with back-to-back strikeouts.
You know, after a great pitcher like Felix Hernandez comes off of those really bad starts like he's had, you talked about it earlier in the roundtable on the radio. Sometimes he's angry. He wants to come out and he wants to show his teammates the real King Felix. And so far, he's on.
And now a changeup for a strike to Hosmer. Eric hit .333 on the trip, and he drove in 5. 51 multi-hit games. Second most in the American League. Only Mike Trout has more. And again, off speed, and Hosmer went too far, and it's 0-2.
Some of the Royals have faced King Felix before. Hosmer 3 for 6 with a double. See what he wants to do. 0-2. Come in.
Similar to the pitch that got Bonifacio. Didn't get enough of the plate, or any of the plate at all. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Felix has a free and easy swing with his arm and his leg. Watch and see how his leg swings all the way over to the first base side. Very fluid.
fluid.
Still 1-2.
Let's check him out. Okay, good separation, but look where that knee ends up, pointing towards center field. So he's really getting some good momentum coming out of that stretch there. Good overhand arm swing. He really winds up that lower half, though. That's where he's getting a lot of his movement. Remember how Dave Island worked with Guthrie to do the same thing with that hip turn, to turn it a little bit more, create a couple different angles? That's what we're seeing from Felix.
Still just 27 years old. Signed by the Mariners in 2002 when he was just 16 out of Venezuela. Slider for a strike. Hosmer didn't think so. And Felix Hernandez strikes out the side. He is 3 strikeouts away from his 5th season with at least 200.
All right, let's see.
Well, we've played 1 full inning, and we've seen 5 strikeouts already. Danny Duffy struck out 2. Felix Hernandez, with some help from the home plate umpire, struck out the side. And now Saunders bunts, gets it in front of Bonifacio, and no play.
Tremendous idea, first pitch. You'd like to stay on top of the ball so it goes on down, but if you don't and you place it right there, no big deal. That's a knock. Look at that. He tricked everyone. 4th bunt hit of the season, I understand. For Michael Saunders.
And he is one of their stolen base threats, almost picked off by Duffy. HUD told you that they hardly ever run. They have 40. And Saunders has a little over a quarter of those stolen bases.
Duffy's going to make sure he doesn't get too far off that bag. Of course, he just called timeout. That's the reason he's off the base now. But Florida State concentrated on Mike Zunino, young rookie catcher.
Last year, the Mariners were excited about Jesus Montero. Remember him? Came over from the Yankees in that trade. Didn't really have a very good year. He did against the Royals. When Seattle was here last year, Montero hit .519 with 10 hits and 8 RBIs. And I remember that because when the Mariners arrived, they were saying, You're not doing anything. He hasn't had an RBI in over a month, and he had 8. Well, he is serving a 50-game suspension. He was part of that biogenesis sting. And Mike Zunino is their #1 catching prospect anyway. He was their first-round pick last year, so it didn't take him very long to get to the big leagues. Out of the University of Florida. Late on a fastball, 2-1.
Good zip. I think you would call Duffy a little bit sneaky because of his delivery. He's got kind of a slow delivery, and then here it comes. It's on you. Interesting lead, Ryan. What do you got on Saunders' lead? Look at his
like
front,
a hitter with an open stance.
Yeah, his front side's collapsed. He's open, and that tells me that he doesn't want to take that little extra step when he starts. So he's cheating a little bit. That's a different style we're not used to seeing.
And we brought this up before, that it would be easy to watch Saunders lead and say, well, how's he going to get back with his hips opened up like that?
Weight on his left side.
But it's all about, in getting back to the bag, you do that with your arms and your shoulders. So as long as his shoulders aren't turned as exaggerated as his lower body is, and still able to reach back with that right arm, he'll be fine.
Kind of reminds me a little of Elliott Johnson that we had earlier in the season. He kind of had a style like that.
Mitch Meyer. Remember when Mitch was with the Royals? He would lead off like that. Those hips opened up, those legs pointed in the right direction. Almost like cheating in the lead. That'll be out of play. Still 3-2 on Zunino.
Okay, Duffy's a little bit strong. By this time in his last start against the Twins, he was already at 3 innings. Through 3. His pitch count was frightening low. I was like, wow, who is this young Danny Duffy now? He's pitching like a 10-year veteran. I'll give him an 8-year veteran, because 10-year veterans don't throw that hard typically.
10 of those 34 pitches have been foul balls.
When you're a high fastball pitcher, that happens. Hitters like to swing at it.
Very high in the air to left field. Alex fighting the sun as he goes into the corner, and it is 1 row back.
All right, since you want to know from the doctor, Super Dave Island, the pitching coach, let's let him break Danny Duffy down.
And the key for Danny is staying under control mentally. If he's under control mentally, his body's going to follow. Not getting ahead of himself, staying within his delivery, and trusting that plus stuff that he has.
But that pregame show love right there from Dave Island.
With Jeff Montgomery during Hy-Vee Royals Live. And that is below the knees. So 2 hits, 2 walks allowed by Duffy in the first 2 innings. These 2 coming to begin the inning. And now Duffy will get a left-hand hitter in Dustin Ackley.
Pretty good pitch there. Kerwin Danley, he's having a kind of a tough afternoon so far with both of these pitchers. Because of the movement that they have on their pitches, that will challenge Kerwin Danley to be consistent. Ackley, a .276 hitter with a runner in scoring position this year.
Two years ago, Dustin Ackley was the Mariners' Player of the Year, and he did that as a rookie. This year, he spent a big chunk of the season in AAA. Sent down on May the 27th. He was their first-round draft pick in 2009. Second overall, by the way, right after Steven Strasburg. Bunts it off the plate and foul. 0-2.
Perfect situation here. Calls for a bunt. Ackley can do it, although 0-2. I doubt they'll leave the bunt on, because if he fouls it off, he'll be out. But this guy, Ackley, he's been a pure hitter ever since they drafted him and stuff. But once you get to the big leagues, the highest competition in the world, they're going to find you out. You're going to struggle. Now, how do you deal with struggle and failure? That's all up to the individual mentally.
.95 miles an hour, 1-2 on Ackley, who has come back to play the outfield. Remember, he was their second baseman last year and the year before. And now 2-2.
Pretty good spot.
A bunt single and a walk. 2 on, nobody out. And should be routine, although on a day like today with the sun, Alex able to make the play. So Saunders back to second, Zunino to first, and that's out number 1. 4-game series with Seattle tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon. Remember, every Wednesday is Ink Student Night and Local Music Showcase. Just show your valid student ID at the box office. You'll get a $7 ticket. And make sure to get here early for drink specials and live local music in the outfield experience before the game. So this Wednesday night against the Mariners, we are featuring the band Cowboy Indian Bear. Royals.com/student night for tickets.
I like that Cowboy Indian Bear. It's a good nickname or a name. We'll hear their tunes.
You like to go out there and listen to them, don't you?
You know what, Ryan? I found out that once I got out there, it was good, but I could hear them from the booth, so I can see them through the booth too. They got a little opening out there, so I just stay up in the booth and listen to them at pregame shows. And I grade them. Grizzly
Hand is still your favorite, right?
Yeah, they were a good band. They had some good upbeat music. You hear Kerwin Danley.
Abraham Almonte came over to the Mariners last year in a trade with the Yankees for reliever Sean Kelly. Good speed, good defense. This is his 9th professional season. So one of those players that was signed at a young age, brought along very slowly by the Yankees and the Mariners.
But he's an action player, like you said. He's got a little bit of explosive power. He's got some speed. There's a lot of time in the minors, though, especially in this modern day.
To Hosmer, down to a knee, out at second, and no double play with Duffy covering.
Ooh, man. Danny Duffy almost rolled his right ankle on that bag. Throw took him up. So when the throw was up like that, Duffy couldn't really see where his foot was going to be, so he hit the top part of the base. Watch his right foot. Duffy's going to cover. Slight tweak. Didn't roll it all the way, but watch his ankle. Ouch. Really fortunate there. See, when you're not looking, that's a no-look touch. Almost took him out of the game. I've seen that bag, any of those bags around the infield do that to you.
Curveball for a strike to Brad Miller. Batting with runners at first and third, 2 down. Miller opened the game with a ground ball to Hosmer. Second round pick of the Mariners 2 years ago. Very old school, Brad Miller, in a couple of ways. Number one, no batting gloves. Very few hitters do that. Number two, how many players in the game today wear the old stirrups?
I would say less than 1%.
Remind you of a George Brett type of a look there.
Does have that look. We saw Bryce Harper in them last week when they were here at the K.
He had the stirrups on?
I believe he did.
Okay.
But like I said, I think 1%, maybe 2% of players, and sometimes they just break them out on a day game. Or to change your luck. Fans trying to get behind Duffy here at the K. Love the fresh crowd.
On the ground to Escobar. Going to have to throw on the run, and it's in time. So Duffy gives up a leadoff single, then a walk. But Seattle is scoreless. Billy Butler, thrilled to be home, I'm sure. Had a tough time on the road trip, and in particular against the Toronto Blue Jays. So hoping he turns that around today. And a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
How about a hitter as good as Billy Butler going 0 for 12 in Toronto on a road trip? Have you said that many times in his career?
And 2 for 46 against them over the past couple of years.
Huh. Hard to figure. I mean,
but he hasn't gone 2 for 46 in his life.
He wants an infield hit.
Seager was playing very deep, and he still has time to get Billy. 1 down.
Okay, I was talking with their broadcaster before the game, Mr. Sims, Dave Sims. I said, can Seager make that play coming in on the run? And he goes, he's exceptional. I said, really? Exceptional's Adrian Beltre. He goes, Hud, he can make that play. And Sarah, he was back. He wasn't expecting Billy to dump one in there like that. That shows you right there. He's a ball player. That's what he told me. He comes to play.
There's another third baseman who makes that play. Mike Moustakas takes ball 1. 2 out of 12 against the Blue Jays. He didn't play against Minnesota. He was out with strep throat and missed that entire series. 2 balls, no strikes.
I think Moose, in his play skills at third base, has a chance to win a Gold Glove one of these years. I don't know when it's going to be, but he has the kind of skills it takes to make the great plays and the routine plays. He makes that play coming in with Seager and Beltre as well.
Two and 2.
Moose is 0 for 3 lifetime against King Felix. Looking for that first knock.
Going to try and pitch him inside, and he does, and just inside. 3 and 2.
Moose is telling himself, okay, it's on. Throw me another one of those. And if you leave it out over the plate, I'm going to turn on it. He's got a nice wind, too, to help him up there.
Off the plate and foul.
Could it be a nicer day here in Kansas City, Missouri?
Perfect.
Wow.
Shallow center, and Miller is out, looking up into the sun. 2 down. Also coming up during this Royals-Seattle series, the next all-you-can-eat day. That is on Thursday. So you can purchase specific seats, which include all the hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, pretzels, and Pepsi products you can handle for just $40. And Thursday is an afternoon game with the Mariners at 1:10. Tickets at royals.com/all-you-can-eat. Slider strike to Salvador Perez. He had 400 on the road trip. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 2 doubles. And most of that damage was done in the Minnesota series. 1 hop to Seager. So an easy inning for Hernandez. Just 11 pitches. He has retired the first 6 Royals today.
Happy 53rd birthday. Shocked the house today, kid.
Hey,
Happy birthday.
thank you, bud. Look, it's not about me shocking the house. It's about the young Royals that could shock the house.
There's the Rex Hudler Royals birthday section.
Yeah, right. We'd love to see him out there, especially those, what do you call those?
Those are pinwheels.
Thank you.
Those are women.
No, and beautiful. And their hats, their outfits, love them. Glad they wanted to spend Labor Day here.
Happy birthday. You got big plans tonight?
Thanks, partner. The biggest plans that I would could.
Well, we've got plans for you.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, you ladies. Oh, man. Oh, and I hope it hooks foul. But, hey, ladies, I saw you outside of the broadcast booth, and I just said to you, hey, you know what? You would make our broadcast look so much better if you showed up, and they did. Thank you. Knuckle bumps. I love hugs. You got baseball cards? Oh, let me have a baseball card of you. Way to go, Kelsey. Thank you. Hey, ladies, way to make my day. I don't know what to say. I love my cake. Where are the candles? Will it fall? Do you want me to smell the cake? Because whenever that's in the clubhouse.
Yeah, make sure you smell the cake.
Yeah, the guys say, "Hey, smell it," and usually the guy goes down and he smells it, and they go wham, and they slam his face in it. No, I can't do that today. Yeah, we'll go take that out to the truck and feed the crew.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, ladies, thanks so much. Way to make my day. Thank you.
I guess we didn't want any pieces up here in the booth.
Sorry.
Happy birthday.
How special. Thank you.
3-2 on Nick Franklin, leading off the third.
Couldn't have picked a greater day, but to answer your question, Ryan, just looking forward to going home and hanging out with my family. That's the best. That could be the best present I'd ever get. Uh-oh.
And a leadoff walk. So 3 walks given up by Duffy. He is not all over the place. He is just missing with several. We mentioned all the foul balls the Mariners have hit in the first 2 innings. So the Mariners have had 5 runners in 2 innings plus 1 batter. And now getting into the middle of their order. That's the second time Franklin has walked, by the way. And now Kyle Seager, who jumped on a hanging off speed pitch in the first inning and singled to center. That is foul.
Some of the fans are getting on Kerwin Danley a little bit, but I explained it earlier. Tough chance in a day game with 2 pitchers that throw hard and have great movement. It's not easy for him. Check out that pretty cool mask he's got, though. That's got shock absorbers on the side of the mask. Okay, right here. Look at those. And that kind of helps. That kind of helps absorb the blow from the baseball. And they're trying all kinds of technology, but that helmet, that's one of the prototypes. You see those little hinges? It's like a shock absorber. Baseball has energy when it's fouled off like that. I mean, it's got a ton of energy, and something's got to absorb the energy. And those masks do, and unfortunately, it rocks their head back, the catcher.
Up the middle and into center field again. So Seager is 2 for 2. And Seattle for the second straight inning. And 2 on with nobody out.
Hey, that's just kind of off the end. It's called living right. See the English that ball had? It just kind of took off.
Kerwin Danley, by the way, while we're talking about him, he was a very good college baseball player, so he has a good feel for the game as an umpire. He played at San Diego State when Tony Gwynn was there, and one year was an All-American. Ball 1-2. Kendrys Morales, who swung at a pitch that was headed for Hud when he went down on strikes in the first inning.
That'd be the second best present I could get. A ball. Bring it up here.
On the corner, 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, getting back to Danley, you played college ball at that Division I level. Got a pretty good idea about umpiring. I mean, about the game and how it's played. Really gives a guy like him an advantage over some of the other guys, I think.
Again, chasing a pitch that was up. And down in the count, 1-2. So 61 pitches for Duffy, 16 foul balls. And many of them on pitches just like the one to Morales, fastballs up that have been fouled straight back. And that was a very similar pitch, believe it or not, to the one that Morales chased back in the first inning, way out of the strike zone. 2-2. Struck him out again. And once again, not a strike. This time a changeup. So now Danny has 3 strikeouts to go with 3 walks.
Hey, if it worked the first time, it'll work again.
Danny with his game face on, staring in for the sign, getting ready to pitch to Justin Smoke. And he struck out first time, and now a fly ball into shallow left field. Alex using his sunglasses and his hand to shade his eyes from the sun, and almost got a double play. So challenged to find the ball in the bright sky, and still had the presence of mind to throw a strike to Bonifacio at second base.
Good focus. Stayed with it. Then he goes, oh, look, you guys forgot that I played third base. I can make that play on the run like that, on the walk. Snap throw. That's one of the reasons why he wears the gold.
He had 2 outfield assists on Saturday, and one of them he played like a third baseman. He played like Seager did last inning on Billy Butler's slow roller. Charging in, throwing off the wrong foot, throwing on the run to third to gun down a runner. That pitch hit Kerwin Danley and past Perez. It is a pass ball, getting Franklin to third and Seager up to second.
Sounded like it hit off of Saunders' bat. No, it was Salvi's glove is what I heard.
And then Danley's leg.
Okay, one of the things that Salvi can improve on is he can improve on inside pitches. I was talking to an umpire in that last series in Toronto off the field, and he told me that he loves the communication that Salvador gives with them. They talk a lot, which is good dialogue. He said, but he could really improve on the inside pitch.
Okay, now what does that mean?
Well, what happens, and you'll watch Salvi, is when that ball comes in contact, or if it gets close to the hitter, he ducks his head away because he thinks it's going to glance off of the hitter and hit him. And sometimes on swings, Salvi will catch the ball and his head goes down a little. That's what they were talking about.
Look out.
Got him. Oh, man. Oh, it looked like he had him. Moose is arguing. Here comes Ned. What a quick snap throw. Let's see if Ned is angry today. He don't look happy.
Sometimes you don't just pick off the runner, you can pick off the umpire.
I don't know. I mean, he looked like the ball beat him there for sure. Moose didn't even look. He thought it was automatic.
Well, it was a high tag, and Lance Barrett may have been screened by Moustakas. You question how good a look he got. Did Moustakas get in the way of him making a call? 2 balls, 2 strikes. He was trying to get into position. He was moving farther into foul territory. But he thought the hand got to the bag before the tag. Into left field. Alex fades back. He's got it. So it just required a couple more pitches for Duffy. 3 scoreless innings as the Landis, and when Jacob was just 2 years old, he began losing his hearing and eventually required a cochlear implant when he was 10. Now he's 24, and he's on a 10,500-mile coast-to-coast bike ride that stops at all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums in hopes of raising awareness and $1 million to help those who need implants but cannot afford them. So he is at Kauffman Stadium today. This is the 26th ballpark that he has visited. He is joined by nearly 200 local supporters.
Inspirational person after inspirational person come here and sit in that seat. What a beautiful thing. And hearing how thankful we all should be that we can hear, those of us that can. And if you can't, there's a way. Young man Jacobs showing the people. Way to go.
One and two on David Lowe. Hernandez has retired the first 6 Royals today. David Lowe didn't get a whole lot of playing time on the road trip. He was 3 out of 10. Gerard Dyson will follow him, and then Alcides Escobar. 2-2. Felix Hernandez struck out the side in the first inning, and 2 ground balls and a pop-up in the second. He's had quite a career so far, Felix Hernandez. Mentioned signed as a 16-year-old 11 years ago. He got to the big leagues at the age of 19. An opening day starter by the time he was 20. Won the Cy Young in 2010. He threw a perfect game last year, beating the Rays. And this year in camp, he became the richest pitcher in the history of the game, signing a 7-year contract extension.
Congratulations, man.
He is coming up on 200 strikeouts. If he gets 3 more today, that would be the 5th consecutive season where he's had 200 strikeouts.
It's coming after him here.
Earlier this year, Felix Hernandez became the 4th youngest to get to 1,500 strikeouts. Only Bob Feller, Bert Blyleven, and Dwight Gooden got to 1,500 strikeouts at a younger age than Felix Hernandez. And David Lowe giving him a battle, still 3-2.
Okay, you notice how Felix Hernandez, he's not coming right down the middle on him to challenge him. He's hitting his corners. He's making it tough on Lowe. They've got to somehow find a way to get a runner on base. Ball 4, base hit, whatever it takes.
Base hit. So David Lowe is on to begin the 3rd inning.
Major league hitter has a much better opportunity to hit a pitch he knows is coming. Doesn't mean you're going to always square it up, but he knew a fastball was coming here, and he was ready for it. Right down the middle. Finally gave in. Felix Hernandez said, you know what? This guy, I'm not going to let him tax my pitch count. Here's one down the middle. Hit it.
And now Dyson, who wants to bunt, and takes ball 1. I asked Ned Yost before the game, as the Royals were running wild in Toronto, and really, while they lead the league in stolen bases, they've been on quite a pace over the last month and a half. And I said, can you run on Felix Hernandez? And Ned basically said, you have to run on Felix Hernandez. Sitting back and waiting for 4 or 5 hits in an inning usually isn't going to work. Seager fielding that ball very quickly, but David Lowe got a good break, and Seager wanted to go to second base, but there was no play. So Dyson gets Lowe to second base.
And Seager, he looked eager, and he was right there, and he took that ball before it went foul. He said, I can get an out with it. Let me just get it out real quick. Take the out. Dyson, good job. Get him over to second base. Somebody pick him up here. Escobar hitting .288 with a runner in scoring position.
And he's hit in 6 straight. Still batting at just .237, but hit safely in all the games during the road trip.
2 for 9. Lifetime off Felix.
Fastball over the outside and quickly 0-2.
You know, David Lowe, he had a really good at-bat. He fouled off some pitches. You got a guy fouling off some pitches, you never know. You better be heads up in that dugout. One of those balls almost hit James Shields, even with that fence up in front of the dugout. We'll show it to you. Watch out. Incoming. Oh, and he tried to catch it. Way to go. He was on it. Looks like Paulino instead of Shields.
Two and two.
Dustin Ackley, the left fielder, he has 1 outfield assist. Michael Saunders, the right fielder, he has 7. He has the best arm out there of the 3 outfielders. Amonte, he's making his first start in center field. And we'll see. Doesn't have any.
And Escobar takes a count from 0-2 to 3-2. Hernandez is without a walk today. How about this strikeout to walk ratio this year? 197 strikeouts to 40 walks. And then he goes with a changeup or a two-seamer that was breaking down on Escobar. So he strikes out. That's 4 for Hernandez, 2 down.
Okay, that's some pretty good movement. And might have been too close to take. So nothing wrong with swinging at a pitch like that. Especially a runner in scoring position. You got to get him in. Gordon, like the way he's using his hands. Alex Gordon.
Ball 1. Alex struck out swinging at a fastball in the first inning. He drove in 6 during the road trip.
Seeing the ball well. 319 hitter with a runner in scoring position.
1-1. The thought with Alex has always been, with all those doubles and as the home runs come later in his career, that if he hits in the middle of the order, he'll be more productive. But he continues to be productive even when he bats first. He has the second most RBIs batting first this year than anyone else in the game. Only Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals has more, and that's cut off in the hole. And Smoke gets it to Hernandez, who works around the leadoff single and the sac bunt. No score at the end of 3. For today, who will the Royals pass in the wild card race this homestand? Well, they are closest to the Yankees and the Indians, and then the Orioles. Or will they pass all of them?
Man,
4 games against Seattle.
Come on, Ryan.
3 games against Detroit.
Let's go all or nothing. Everything in to win. Just get it to the pin in Holland. And they could do it, but they've got to score some runs. That offense has got to come around, and they've even got to figure out a way to beat good pitchers, great pitchers, like Felix Hernandez, if they're going to get there.
And now 0-2 on Zunino. He walked in the second inning. Duffy has walked 3. He struck out 3. The Mariners have had 2 base runners in each of the first 3 innings, but they have stranded all 6.
Seems to me like they've got a good scouting report on Danny Duffy. Having never faced him before, hitting coach Dave Hansen has done a good job schooling these guys. They're being very patient. They're working that pitch count up, and unfortunately, this is the Danny Duffy that we're used to seeing. But he's going to get better.
Changeup. 4 strikeouts.
High pitch count early in the game sometimes goes hand in hand with Duffy, but he's got the stuff. He can somehow find a way to get to 6 innings. I think it'll all be good.
Dustin Ackley, our AT&T U-verse rewind 2 years ago, one of the best catches I have ever seen. Jeff Francoeur against Ackley at Safeco Field, putting his foot in the wall with his back to the infield.
Wow.
And making an over-the-head catch. And the ball deflected to add to the difficulty off of that fan's glove. Just nicked off the glove, and Francoeur still caught it.
Great catch. I think I've seen that one other time, and I was like, really?
I remember the call, which took me back into my pre-puberty days.
You got excited?
Yeah.
I would have too.
Visited an octave that I hadn't seen in quite a while. But it was just a stunning play.
I know we can dig that up somewhere. I want to hear it.
Still 0-2. Ackley flied to left first time up.
But you know, I said this is a typical Danny Duffy outing, but you know, he throws a lot of pitches typically is what I meant. But no score, that's a beautiful thing. His team is waiting. They are in the game, even though they've only got 1 hit against Felix Hernandez.
Very shallow left field. Alex coming up and runs it down.
Hi. That was one of the best catches I've ever seen. Now let's hear one of the greatest calls we've ever heard.
Francoeur all the way back at the wall. He made it amazing. Yeah.
That was so great. You're right.
Yeah, I really was 40 years old when I made that call. Didn't sound like it.
You win an octave higher. Way to go, guys in the truck. Thanks for helping us there. That was beautiful. Amazing.
Yeah.
I haven't
Remember
heard
that Brady Bunch episode when poor Peter was losing his voice during puberty and he was singing in the Glee Club? Remember that? Anyway. Abraham Almonte with 2 outs, nobody on, and Duffy could use a really quick inning to keep his pitch count at a manageable level. This next pitch will be his 80th, or make it his 81st. So he is at a 20 pitch per inning pace. Left center field.
Here, let's see him run.
He stumbled as he got ready to round first base, and that stumble may have cost him a triple.
Okay, they said he can run. Hit the gap with 2 outs. Spun his tire a little bit, like you said at first. Let's check him out.
Right there.
Yep.
Did he touch first?
think he did. He just lost his, let's see. Yeah, inside part. Yeah, that's proper too, by the way. You young base runners out there, inside part of the base. Never even break your stride.
So the first double, first extra base hit of his major league career. And now the leadoff man, Brad Miller, who has grounded out twice against Danny. One and one. Two balls, one strike. Fouls the breaking ball away, 2-2.
His last start, I saw some shorter breaking balls too, almost like he had a little slider or a little cutter. So he's obviously been experimenting with a change of speeds with the breaking ball.
And we'll do it again.
Another foul off.
Line toward right field. David Lowe dives. Almost got it. The Mariners will take a 1-0 lead, and now here's Miller zipping around the bases, and he'll end up at third with an RBI triple. That was an all-out effort by David Lowe, and he almost made an amazing catch.
I would have loved to have heard your voice crackle again with an exciting call on a great catch, because that's almost what it turned into be. This is do or die. I loved it. Almost gloved it. Let's see how close he came. Have to try another one, but I mean, he was like Superman. Just off the end of his glove. Nice little roll. Got right up. Got the ball in as quickly as possible.
And when the play came to an end, there was a nice round of applause from fans all around the stadium, and that wasn't for the Mariners. It was because of that effort.
But look at the athletic roll. That's a former wide receiver in college, too. He knows how to roll when he's left his feet. Just off the end of his glove. Okay, it's important that you don't land on your shoulder. You got to tuck that shoulder and roll so you don't blow your shoulder out.
Nick Franklin has walked twice against Danny Duffy, and now that pitch count becoming an issue. 88 pitches, so Will Smith is warming up as Danny is still pitching in the fourth inning. 2-0. Going to start seeing more and more helmets like this in the big leagues. Franklin is a switch hitter, and those are the helmets that the minor leaguers are required to wear, whether they're a switch hitter or hit from one side. And so they get here and they're comfortable with a certain helmet, and they're just going to stick with that, where for years guys would have two different helmets, one for when they're batting left-handed and one when they're batting right-handed.
Yeah, and you know, those are the new helmets that are designed to withstand a fastball at 100. They're a little heavier, but they protect you. Brian Pena wears one like that. Double flaps. Catcher for the Tigers.
Think of some other guys. Shane Victorino, right? Orlando Hudson, when he played. 3-1. And that's the third time that Franklin walks against Danny Duffy. And Ned Yost says that's it. So it was purely the pitch count. And he gives up 1 run on 5 hits in 4 innings, but 92 pitches for a pitcher just making his 4th start, coming back from Tommy John surgery. And because of the way the starters pitch during the road trip, it's a rested bullpen. And Ned Yost is going to make a Chevy call to the bullpen and bring on another lefty, Will Smith. Putting together my corner piece. Thank you. Join us for Buck Night on Friday when the Tigers come to town, and bring your dollar bills, as hot dogs, peanuts, and small Pepsi products are just $1 each. Thanks, Hud.
Got it, man. You told me you wanted the corner piece with all the sugar on it. Got to get mine now.
Do you feel 53 years old today?
No. Matter of fact, I really want to go out there and play baseball again. I know I was too long as it was.
They've got leagues for guys your age.
They do. It's done. Over. Stick a fork in me.
Will Smith, good-looking breaking ball to Kyle Seager. The Mariners had 6 runners in the first 3 innings against Danny Duffy, but Danny, even with his high pitch count, pitched well with men on base. And then with 2 outs and nobody on in this inning, the Mariners do it the hard way with a 2-out double followed by a triple. Take a 1-0 lead, then a walk, and then Ned Yost made the move. And now it's 0-2 on Seager, who is 2 for 2 with a pair of singles to center field against Duffy.
Pretty impressive what Will Smith's been able to do. And one of the reasons is he's a confident pitcher. He believes he can get guys out. That's what he's doing. 2 different speeds to his breaking ball, we're figuring. Pretty good sinking fastball. He can run it up there to 95, although he's more comfortable in the low 90s. Look at that.
Slider, slider, slider. And Smith gets the Royals out of the 4th inning. Seattle takes the lead on Miller's triple.
Ooh, that's a beauty.
to face his former team, and he had 3 stolen bases in the series against the Blue Jays. Also played a very good second base. That's where he's playing today. 2 of those stolen bases yesterday. The Royals had 4 as a team. And now he will lead off. Bottom of the 4th inning, Felix Hernandez has a 1-0 lead and drops a curveball in for a strike. Royals still lead the league in stolen bases. They lead the major leagues and 10 more than the National League's Brewers. No balls, 2 strikes. They had 4 stolen bases yesterday. Second time this year they've had 4 stolen bases in one game. Bonifacio on the trip. 7 hits, 2 walks, 3 stolen bases. Late swing, and he strikes out, and that is 5 for Felix Hernandez.
Now, Bonifacio, he got booed in Toronto a little bit. You know, that's no big deal. It's because, you know, he didn't get a lot of playing time there. So he didn't have a chance to really get his game going. He was in, he was out, you know, had a few other guys they were putting in there. So, you know what, he came to Kansas City, and they gave him an everyday playing job, and that's what happens. You get good timing down, your rhythm, you're more productive.
I kind of felt like that booing was just symbolic of how the fans felt about that trade. All those players that were coming over from the Marlins, which were supposed to take the Blue Jays to the next level. Josh Johnson, Jose Reyes, Emilio Bonifacio. And now that Bonifacio is no longer a Blue Jay, they could just kind of vent their frustrations at him.
I agree with you.
1 and 2 on Hosmer.
Wasn't Burley in that trade too?
Mark Burley, excuse me, you're right.
Wow, man, that's a lot. They pillaged that team. Man, they got a lot of great players from the Marlins. I think they'll be better next year.
2-2. It's interesting when the Marlins were here and talking to some of their people, and that's still a very touchy subject. After getting the brand new stadium with the high payroll and then purging the roster of all the contracts, there was kind of a little wink attitude on their part. As Hosmer muscles it into right field. He has a 1-out single. And he was called out on a pitch inside like that last time, so he wasn't going to let that happen again, and he's on with 1 out. Just to finish the thought, Hud, that, you know, the Marlins felt like those players that they traded away, that they underachieved in Miami, and they were not convinced that they were going to turn their careers around in Miami. And their attitude was the players that underachieved with them were now underachieving in Toronto. So they shed the payroll, and they got a lot of good young players, and we saw some of those with the Marlins. So I think even though maybe the intent of Marlins ownership wasn't as honorable as some would like, that trade looks better for Florida every day, or Miami, I should say. Up the middle and into center field. Billy puts an end to an 0 for 16, and Hosmer going first to third. Throw back to first. Billy is safe.
Signature Royals aggressive base running here. Look at this. Hosmer makes up his mind. I'm going to make you throw me out and cause a mistake. Almost did. Picking on a throw from Abraham Almonte, making his first major league start in center field. That's a great challenge by Hosmer. I loved it. That's what this team does. And Billy, had he not been dropping weight, he's lost 12 pounds in the last month, he might not have got back.
And now a ground ball base hit for Moustakas to tie the game at 1.
There you go. Great to hear the crowd at the K. You can tell that these fans are cheering for a team that's over 500 this time of year. No question. Moose, why not go for that first pitch? Felix Hernandez is going to try to get in there with a fastball. Get that one before you have to hit those other ones. Rally going, passing the baton here. Now we know a track meet won't break out with Billy and Moose on the bases. However, they're looking for some more big hits here.
And now a strike to Sal. So with one out, Hosmer, Butler, and Moustakas all single, and now Perez. He grounded to third first time up. And down 0-2.
That first one was the one. Then you got to swing at that other one. Now he's 0-2. So you got to be protective. Really, which is not a bad deal for a free swinger like Salvi. Salvi's got a 333 average with runners in scoring position, and he swings at a lot of things off the plate. He makes good contact. Let's see.
Grounded to third. Out at second, and a double clutch, but still a double play. So the Mariners prevent a big inning, but the Royals tie it. Mike Moustakas drives in his 35th, and we're tied at 1. Royals Baseball is brought to you by Farmland Foods and their Bacon a Difference charity concert. All tickets are $10 with all proceeds benefiting harvesters. Go to baconadifference.com. Mariners get a run in the top of the fourth. Mike Moustakas drives in a run in the bottom of the fourth. So we're all even again. That gets Danny Duffy off the hook. It's Will Smith's game now, and he throws a strike to Kendrys Morales, who struck out twice against Duffy on a changeup up and away, and on a fastball that was way up and away. 1-1. With 2 outs in the top of the fourth, Brad Miller tripled, scoring the Seattle run. And popped up right center field. Dyson and Lowe are there. And Dyson makes the play. 1 down. Well, the kids are back in school, and I know it's tougher to get out to the ballpark with the kids, but remember, parents, you can still sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew, brought to you by the Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. Members receive a gray batting practice jersey, a Royals hat, blue wristbands, priority access for the Sunday Fun Run, and much more. And membership has just been reduced to $15 for an end-of-the-year sale. So let the kids be part of the fun by joining at Royals.com/Blue Crew. Bad swing by Justin Smoke. He is 0 for 2 and now down in the count 0 and 2.
We've seen a lot of bad swings from righties and lefties off of Will Smith. That tells me that slider, it's unhittable almost when he locates it where he wants. You know, you mentioned as he towed the slab to start this inning, and it's his game. And it's 6'5", 250. He welcomes it.
Really has that pitch down today. His slider, second strikeout, and 2 down in the 5th.
Yep. He's got one that works down the back leg of the righty. He's got one that stays in the back door outside. He's got one he can throw for a strike if he wants to, but that's the best pitch off the plate where he can't hit it.
So 2 down to Saunders, and he's fooled by the slider. They're just not picking that pitch up. Saunders bunted for a single in the 2nd inning and flied to left in the 3rd. And now a slider taken for a strike. Fastball strikes him out. Fastball at 94, and that has Saunders throwing his bat and his helmet in frustration as Will Smith carved him up. Smith is face 4 and struck out 3.
Nice.
Baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. By Ford, see the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. And by ATT Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. 1-1 tie. David Lowe, who singled leading off the 3rd, will lead off the 5th inning against Felix Hernandez, and he had a good swing there to pitch that stayed up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Back in the 3rd, that was David's first career at bat against Felix Hernandez. A 9-pitch at bat, which included 4 foul balls before his single to right.
I think Felix Hernandez is saying, I'm going to give him some good pitches early and not run the count to 3-2 against this guy again.
Really tied him up. And Franklin will throw him out. One away in the 5th. Felix Hernandez is one strikeout away from 200 this season. That would be his 5th consecutive season with at least 200.
You see the movement he's got on his pitches. Nothing hardly stays straight.
And Hernandez late to cover, and it won't be close.
Ryan, I can tell a difference in the crowd here at the K. Just the way they're cheering, the way they're roaring. I mean, this is you can tell that they're rooting for a team over 500 here. Have you noticed the difference? Okay, watch this now. Dyson, there's no chance there's not a pitcher in the world that can beat him to first base. King Felix tried, but there was a great roar from the 20,000 fans here today. I don't know the exact attendance, but might be close as he beats him at the line.
And now Dyson, who has stolen 13 in a row. He has made the most of his extended playing time with Lorenzo Cain on the disabled list. Pulled foul by Alcides Escobar. Since August the 11th, nobody has more stolen bases than Jarrod Dyson, who has 29 on the year.
Nobody in the game.
He is one away from his career high. He had 30 last year and was thrown out just 5 times. And now very similar this year, 29 stolen base, and he's been thrown out 4 times.
I mean, he's just downright cocky when he gets out there on the bases. I like that attitude. He gets a huge lead, not just a lead that says, okay, I got a chance. I mean, he just dares the pitcher.
He's running and grounded perfectly through the right side. So Dyson will keep running, and the Royals have runners at first and third with 1 out.
That's a beautiful play to watch happen. The old hit and run. Okay, he's going to steal a base, but Escobar sees that big vacancy there in second base and just guides that ball. You know, you could have just underhand rolled it, and it would have been perfect. Now Dyson, he's able to pick it up, sees it. He'll head on to third base now, first and third. 1 out. Alex Gordon looking to drive the bus here.
And the Mariners now need to keep an eye on Escobar, who is 16 out of 16 in stolen bases. And he's running. Alex fouls it away.
Good to see Escobar going first pitch. Typically, he didn't go the first 2 or 3. He doesn't go.
Now, he hasn't been on base as much as he was last year when he hit 293. He stole 35 bases a year ago, but I agree. He had, even though he's been perfect, maybe he's been a little too picky in deciding when to run. Not as aggressive as he was last year.
And, you know, I brought that up to Rusty Kuntz a few times. I said, Rusty, you know, Escobar, he's had some opportunities to get some bags, and he goes, you know, I wish he would get thrown out, Hut. He's worried about being perfect. If he gets thrown out, then it's...
Running again, and he will steal a base, so he's still perfect. 17 for 17.
Yep, and a good jump. And the perfect pitch is a breaking ball to run on. So now Eric Wedge has a choice. He can bring the infielders in, or he can leave them back. Here we are about midway through the game. Looks like they're going to elect to keep him back. And what that does is it gives the infielders more range to keep Escobar from scoring. They're going to go ahead and let Dyson score. Contact.
2-1 on Alex.
Any kind of contact up the middle, get it airborne, got a chance to get Dyson home.
And it skips past Zunino, so how about a wild pitch? And with all of his impressive numbers, Felix Hernandez does lead the league in wild pitches. That's his 12th. And it gives the Royals a 2-1 lead.
That's a good point, Ryan. You know what? With that kind of stuff, that ball hits that ground, it's going to take off. You know, and the young catcher, Zunino, he tried to backhand there, and that's a shot in the dark. So great job of helping the Royals there, move up the runner. Now the infielder's got to come in. 3-1 count, look up the middle.
And it almost hit him. First walk given up by Hernandez. And once again, first and third with one out. That's pitching coach Carl Willis.
You know, Ryan, this situation here now, he's going to come out and just talk with King Felix about trying to keep the ball down, get into a double play. But with Bonifacio, who handles the bat well, and Escobar's a good runner up there, and King Felix throws strikes, perfect opportunity for a squeeze bunt. Never know. Got one out. The way the Royals bullpen is and how good they are, 2-run lead can hold up. Trying to sneak that run home. Let's see what they do.
Our Time Warner pitch speed comparison and the speed range for Felix Hernandez, as fast as 94, as slow as 79. It really isn't a huge range. It works for him. There they go, the Rex Hudler birthday section.
That is not.
They've had plenty of sugar from that birthday cake. They're ready to go. And Escobar was not coming, so that would have been a safety squeeze. Bonifacio has struck out twice against Hernandez, once swinging and once looking.
Okay, the league has stolen 10 of 12 from Zunino, the young catcher.
Called strike, 1-1. So here with the signs, there's Escobar. He'll get a verbal cue from Eddie Rodriguez.
Okay, third base coach walks over every time, every pitch, whether it's on or not, just to keep the opposing manager guessing. That'll work. I don't know. He's got a good arm.
Saunders gets behind it. Escobar tags. And the throw is late. 3-1 KC as Bonifacio drives in Escobar. And Gordon goes to second.
Nice execution. He got just enough of it. And with a good runner at third base, and Escobar knew it could happen. And it did. Right fielder Saunders has 7 outfield assists. He has the best arm out there, but he was not accurate with it.
And now Hosmer, who singled and scored the tying run in the 4th inning. Timeout asked for by Zunino. Hosmer with a chance for another multi-hit game and a chance to get to 300 with his batting average.
Oh, man, I don't know.
And a chance to drive in his 70th run. 0-1.
Oof. Perfect spot. Look at that. Right on the inside corner. Felix Hernandez, he's not afraid of coming in.
Two.
It's by you at 93. That looked like more like that was 97.
Just inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Okay, Felix obviously is trying to pitch Hosmer inside. He wants to try to tie him up before he gets those long arms out there. And there's been a lot of teams that try to do that. Now that pitch there, he was called out on that earlier. Felix gets that 2-seam run going. Catches the inside part.
Line caught at short by Miller, and Hosmer could not hit that any harder. Royals get 2 runs to take the lead.
Congratulations to Mike Jershely and the Omaha Storm Chasers. Final day of the regular season. They had lost their division lead, came back and won yesterday to be tied for the lead with Memphis. Memphis lost today. Omaha wins. The Storm Chasers, behind newly acquired Carlos Pena, who had 4 RBIs. They are headed to their 3rd straight playoff berth. And if they can win it all, Will Smith would get a ring out of it. But congratulations to the Storm Chasers. And well, now, Ryan, here we have a rematch of last year's royal meeting between King Felix and the Fresh Prince.
There you go. But right now, the Fresh Prince looks like he's wanting this game. He's just coming in throwing strikes. Really good breaking ball we're seeing. What a beauty. Ouch. Look, it hit his toe.
2-2 on Zunino. He strikes out, so that's 4 for Will Smith against the 5 batters he has faced.
Can't hit it. A lot of guys shaking their head going back to that dugout trying to figure out that slider. It's a beauty. He's got a hard one, and he's got one a little bit softer, and he's got a tighter one. Being creative. Talked about his size, 6'5", 250.
And now line to left. And Alex, thing almost popped out of his glove. Dustin Ackley is 0 for 3 with all 3 outs to Alex in left field.
From Noonan, Georgia, is the big left-hander, Will Smith. "24 years old, Will Smith.
Bunt attempt and miss by Almonte. Will Smith has pitched as many as 5 innings out of the bullpen for the Royals. That was well over a month ago, actually well over 2 months ago, June the 29th. Ooh. Well, Monte, he's all mixed up against Will Smith. So are most of the Mariners.
Haven't seen one good swing on his breaking ball. Those are big league hitters doing that too. And we've seen Will in previous outings against other teams making guys look like that. What a nice addition to the bullpen. Have a weapon like him. Beautiful. He's confident. He believes.
Laid off the slider, 2-2.
That's the best thing. Don't even swing at it.
One big hop to Moustakas. And Will Smith has retired all 7 Mariners he has faced. To the bottom of the 6th, the Royals lead 3-1.
Get jiggy with it.
A rewards program called Royals Rewards. You can earn points for online ticket purchases and activity with the team website, Facebook, and Twitter pages. You can then redeem points for prizes and special experiences, and the whole program is free, so go create your profile now at royalsrewards.com. Billy Butler leads off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Sandra Williams from Marshall, Missouri, and a home run is worth $700. 1-1 on Billy. The Royals hit a grand slam out of the park. Sandra wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Butler, Moustakas, and Perez. 2-1. Billy singled in the 4th inning, putting an end to an 0 for 16. Two and two. Mariners scored in the top of the 4th. The Royals tied it in the bottom of the 4th on a Mike Moustakas single. And then the Royals took the lead in the 5th, scoring on a wild pitch and on a sac fly from Bonifacio. Grounded up the middle. And Miller will make a long throw from the outfield grass, but in time, one away. All right, you ready for a trivia question?
I think I'm ready.
How'd you do during the road trip, by the way?
I was pretty good, although not that good. Does that make sense?
No. Our AT&T trivia question: who is the only pitcher with more strikeouts than Felix Hernandez since Hernandez's career began in 2005? I think I know who it was because I was doing that research this morning. Well, I thought it was Justin Verlander. I was told it wasn't Justin Verlander. I was looking since 2007.
How about Jared Weaver? I was thinking Verlander. Ooh.
2-2 on Moustakas.
Weaver doesn't quite have the stuff that Felix does. And Jared Weaver's been second in the Cy Young. He's getting close.
CC Sabathia.
Pretty good call.
Fastball struck him out. So there you go. 200 strikeouts this year for Felix Hernandez. That is the 5th consecutive season he's had at least 200 strikeouts. And that's 6 strikeouts today. And now 2 down to Salvador Perez. He is grounded to third twice. One of those ground balls turned into a double play. Justin Smoke in front of the Royals dugout brings it down. It's a 10-pitch inning for Hernandez. The Royals are down quickly in the 6th. But at the end of 6, they lead 3-1. Baseball is brought to you by Ram Trucks and by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Almost feels like a day at the beach. High temperatures just in the low to mid 80s today. Spotless blue sky and a cool breeze blowing out of the northwest, and a cool breeze on the mound right now. Will Smith, 2 1/3. In relief of Danny Duffy. He's retired all 7 with 4 strikeouts.
And in addition to that, he's 8 for 8 in first pitch strikes. You get strike one, you ask a lot of pitchers and they'll tell you their best pitch is strike one. 8 for 8. Getting ahead, finishing guys off with that great slider. Should I not say great slider, or should I say nasty slider? Is it a great slider yet, Ryan? Does he have enough time?
It is today.
Yeah. I mean,
look at that. I mean,
it's unhittable.
If it's not buckling a hitter's knees like that one, it's down and away and swung on and missed. He's putting it right where he wants it.
Great slider.
5 strikeouts against the 8 batters he has faced.
Wow. He has got it going on.
And now Nick Franklin, he walked 3 times against Danny Duffy, and Smith throws a strike. The question now becomes, and we still have a little less than 4 weeks before the regular season comes to an end as the Royals look forward. What is Will Smith? Man, that pitch is just disappearing on hitters today. Is he still a starter, or is he a reliever? Well, as a starter in the big leagues, his ERA is about 5.5. As a reliever, it's under 2.5. And he's throwing a lot harder as a reliever. So just as he has the hitters thinking about the slider, he throws a fastball at 93, and now he has struck out 6 of the 9 hitters he has faced.
Wow. You know, you would think that Danny Duffy would pile up these kind of strikeouts. Wasn't to be for Duffy today, but how about handing the ball over to his fellow lefty, who's just dealing?
Similar question could be asked about Luke Hochevar.
I'm going to say leave him in the pen, especially Smith.
And that's more of a curveball than a slider there. 0-1 on Kyle Seager.
So you can see the difference in.
I can see the difference. I can almost smell the difference.
2 different sliders. One's tighter, one's bigger. Ooh, where'd that miss? Now, what
was that? Did you smell that?
Yes. What was wrong with that?
Two and one. Seager singled twice against Duffy, and then Danny struck him out. Let me take that back. The strikeout was the first batter against Will Smith. Seager in the 4th inning, and he struck out on the slider. And that's almost cause for celebration. A Mariner making contact, and now Dyson has trouble with the sun, and Seager ends up at second base. So give him some credit for running hard after hitting a very routine fly ball to center field, although it's not much of a routine play today with the sun.
No, and you can tell by the shadow coming off of the players the way the sun's shining. Right into, you're looking right into it. Sometimes you try to stay with it as long as you can, but he didn't block the sun out with that glove. But he's got those glasses on, probably cut down some of the glare. That happens.
Oh, and 1 on Kendrys Morales. You have to have an idea, don't you, of where the sun is, and you have to anticipate the worst. So on a ball that's first hit in the air, and it may not be in the sun right away, that ball, everything changes when you begin to move in and the ball begins to come down. It may not be in the sun right on contact, but that can change after several steps. And now it's 0-2 on Morales.
Yeah, but the way Smith is pitching, he's going to pick up Dyson right here. But watch this. You can come around it. You can use that glove to hold up, but also you can come around the ball and look out another way. Look through the right field stands. Morales, he's swinging a lot of air here at the K today.
Now you think, well, no chance he's going to go for that pitch, but he swung at a pitch like that against Duffy when he struck out in the first inning. He is the Mariners' best hitter with runners in scoring position. Not in this at bat. Will Smith has faced 11. He has retired 10 with 7 strikeouts.
Jeez, crackers. This guy's unhittable. It's a slider from the sky.
One in the fourth. Royals answered in the fourth. 2 more in the fifth. One on a wild pitch, and Will Smith has really picked up Danny Duffy and the Royals as he has gone 3 1/3 innings. He's faced 11 hitters. He has retired 10 with 7 strikeouts, and the only hit was a pop up to center that went into the sun. And now 1-1 on David Lowe, who leads off for the 3rd time. He singled against Felix Hernandez in the 3rd, and then Hernandez got him on a ground ball to 3rd in the 5th. Lowe, Dyson, and Escobar in the bottom of the 7th inning. One big hop to Smoke. Lowe. Oh, you like to see that. Running hard up the line. Didn't look like he had a chance to beat it out, but he was going to run hard anyway. 1 down.
Tell you, make a habit of doing that. You win a lot of fans over when you hustle hard every time. You make a habit of that, and it becomes natural for you, and other teams want you. Including the team you're already with.
Dyson had an infield single, which got a 2-run rally started in the 5th. Scored on a wild pitch, which put the Royals in front. And he also has a sac bunt.
Oh, my. As you heard Kerwin Dantley, he took that one. You got all that. Zunino, that's not how you win over umpires. When you miss a ball like that, watch this. Where's he get it? Ooh, right in the gut. Right in the gut.
I don't know if there's a more painful yet pretty harmless feeling as so-called getting the wind knocked out of you. I mean, most people who get the wind knocked out, which is just a figure of speech, most guys stay in the game, or in this case, the umpire stays in the game. But for that 1 minute, I mean, you feel like you're going to die.
Yeah, no, he probably, with a chest protector, absorbed that. It's a great thing it wasn't a foot lower.
Two and two on Dyson.
But Ryan, here we are in September. It's the time to continue to push the pedal to the metal, not to back off the throttle at all. A lot of jobs are won in the month of September. A lot of positions are filled. A lot of guys get contracts because of the month of September. Those who hustle and play the hardest in September find rewards the next season. Oh yeah, you're tired? Watch me go today. Those are the guys that attract attention.
Very close, 3 and 2.
Some guys will call it a salary drive the month of September. Time to push hard, finish strong.
Two down. The only pitcher with more strikeouts than Felix Hernandez since his major league career began in 05.
Your last guess got it. Way to go. Sorry, Al, we're going to beat you every day on this homestand.
Whoa.
No. I always got my internet up here. I got my Google.
Or as we say on the radio side, gargle.
Yep.
Bobbled. And not in time. That's all it took. And that right there is the difference between playing shortstop and third base and playing shortstop and second base. One little bobble at second and third doesn't usually cost you, but at short it does.
You got that right. That's why it's a really tough throw, and you got to be almost perfect. Escobar running hard. That's why you do it. Never know.
So several years ago, when Google became popular, Denny Matthews would overhear us talking about this thing called Google, and he started connecting the dots that anytime Steve Stewart or Bob Davis or I wanted something looked up, we'd say to Don, Google it. Well, Denny had no idea what we were talking about because it was just a couple of years ago that he turned on a computer for the first time. And then we were on the air one day in spring training, and we were kicking around something, and Denny said, well, why don't you have Don gargle it?
It's the right idea.
So from then on, anytime something needs to be researched on the radio side, we'll just have Don gargle it. Escobar steals second. He lost sight of the ball for a moment, and now on his way to third, and he will still advance. So an error got him on base, a stolen base got him to second, and another error gets him to third.
Okay, Escobar, he's on the move, and so are the Royals. That running game is fun to watch. It took him a while to pick that ball up. By the time he did, he challenged him, and that's what runners do. They always try to take the extra base. Apply pressure to that defense. Works every time.
1-2 on Alex. Royals have been running wild. 2 stolen bases today. So that's 41 in their last 23 games. And now, here comes Eric Wedge.
Well, looked like Felix Hernandez is something wrong with his leg.
He's grabbing his his side, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. They noticed something. He wants to stay in. And Eric Wedge doesn't want him to stay in. I can just tell. He's saying, come on, man. He's trying to talk him out of it.
They're ready to go in the bullpen. Oliver Perez is already warming up. Eric Wedge might have to grab him by the collar and drag him off the mound. So he doesn't want to come out, but he will. Right in the middle of his matchup with Alex Gordon. So Perez appeared ready to go, but because Hernandez leaves with an injury, he'll get all the warm-up tosses he needs. Chevy call to the bullpen, 3-1 KC, bottom of the 7th. Will face the Seattle Mariners for 4, then the Tigers for 3. That the Royals will pass the Yankees, the Indians, and the Orioles in the wild card. 53% going with that one. So after 136 games, 2 years ago, the Cardinals were 7.5 out, and they rallied to take the wild card. Ended up going to and winning the World Series. And then the Rockies in 07, they had that great run. And they ended up in the World Series and lost to the Red Sox.
Royals finish off today. They win 19 more. They could get in. It's going to take, a lot of focus, but they can do it. They have to stay united, keep the good pitching there, and the good defense. And that base running, man, off the charts.
Still 2-2.
Okay, Perez, he's a veteran, been around a long time. He's 6'3", 215. He goes 92 to 95. He kind of slings it. He's got a slider, curve, and a change because he used to start back in his younger days. Got a live arm.
Very high to right field with a tough sky. Saunders using his glove and his sunglasses. He makes the play. Escobar is stranded at third. To the 8th. Royals lead the Mariners 3-1. we head to the 8th. Keep up with the pennant races and catch the end of the 2013 season in stunning HD quality on MLB.tv. You can watch every out-of-market game live, as well as choice of home and away broadcasts, live game DVR functionality, and multi-game viewing options. Visit MLB.tv to order baseball everywhere. Will Smith has tied his career high for strikeouts. He has 7, and he's done that in 3 1/3 innings. The last time he struck out 7, it took him 7 innings. Alex makes the play on Justin Smoke. That was September the 11th of last year. Will Smith at Minnesota had one of his best starts of the year. 7 scoreless innings and a Royals 9-1 win. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts. Today, 7 strikeouts in his first 3 1/3 innings.
It's just been beautiful performance. Ned leaving him in all the way. Give him another day or 2 off, and then get him back up there again whenever a situation calls for it. This is why you have a long man in your bullpen. Ned has 2, Mendoza, and he can rely on both of them. Mendoza, he's shown that he can go 15 days without even any work and come in and get him out. 1, 2, 3.
And this is where the game's really changed in the last 20, 25 years. It used to be everybody in the bullpen was a long man because they were all guys who didn't make the starting rotation. 8 strikeouts, so a new career high for Will Smith as he gets Saunders for a second time. 2 down in the 8th.
And an all out of the bullpen. Is he comfortable coming out of the pen? Whew, that'll show you right there. 8 punches.
Now in the game, pitchers have more defined roles. They have certain innings that are assigned to them, but time was all those starters who didn't make the rotation in a game like today where you had to go to the bullpen in the 4th inning. You would just find a guy, and if he was on a roll, he just finish out the game. Moustakas on the line, guns it across the diamond in time. Will Smith, 4 1/3 scoreless innings. He gives up 1 base runner and establishes a new career high with 8 strikeouts.
It's not great or nasty. It's a filthy McNasty.
For the win, Baltimore on top of Cleveland early. Chicago getting blasted by the Yankees. Houston ahead of Minnesota. Texas trailing Oakland Tampa Bay and LA later tonight. And as we return to action, guys, I had a good fan tweet that came in from Tom at Murphballer, who said, what is the franchise record for strikeouts collected by a reliever in a game? Got to be getting close. And we see that Will Smith now at 8 strikeouts ties a bunch of Royals relievers for second. Number 1 of all time, Tom Gordon, April 12th, 1989. 6 2/3 innings pitched, though, and he struck out 10 Baltimore Orioles that day. Those with 8, Doug Bird, Tom Gordon, Mike Hedlund, Bob McClure, Roger Nelson, Jim York, and Will Smith.
Wow. Flash Gordon. He's got the record.
Well, and if this happened to be a 6-1 game instead of a 3-1 game, and maybe it will be, you might have a chance at that record. The Royals add on here, but we're into Greg Holland territory now with a 2-run lead, and Holland is getting ready in the bullpen. Did you notice, though, all of those, just getting back to the conversation we had last inning, all those names that Joel gave us, those are guys, with the exception of Tom Gordon, although 1989, that's still that era that I was talking about, where a reliever would go long innings because, again, most of them were starters that just didn't make the rotation, so they could go 4, 5, 6 innings out of the pen, and it was no big deal.
Pile up them strikeouts.
Every one of the names on that list went longer than what Will Smith did. Now, the Tom Gordon, I told you about his performance, but the other one of him on that list, which was 1993 against Detroit, 8 strikeouts, that was in 4 2/3, so that would be at least a little bit more similar. And I want to point out one thing, too. You guys mentioned this in the last half inning, that Will Smith's such a big piece for Ned Yost because he can go long, but we have also seen Ned Yost have incredible trust in him late in games lately, almost going with him in bigger situations, at least lately, as a lefty over Tim Collins. So it's almost like he has been the top left-handed setup man, but also a long guy.
Joel, have you ever heard Ned Yost use the term filthy McNasty on a nasty or great breaking ball?
I don't think I've ever heard him use the term Mick anything. Has he?
Filthy McNasty?
Right.
That sounds like a McDonald's nightmare.
Right.
That's a Ned Yost term.
I had no idea. I've heard of Bob McClure.
Going to say that Hosmer went around, and Hosmer just stands and stares at third base umpire Lance Barrett. The Royals were at odds with him very early in the game when they thought they had a runner picked off.
Yeah, that's always a tough call. Hosmer hitting 328 off southpaws. He wants another multi-hit game.
Pops out of Zunino's glove, and it's still 1-2. Going to be a lot of questions about Will Smith after the game today. Now, you mentioned his size, but he's only really pitching according to his size this year since he's gotten into the bullpen. He was never really a power lefty. Now he's felt like, for a guy with his experience, which is very little, he has a good feel for what his strengths are. But by going to the bullpen, his velocity has really shot up and looks more like a guy who's 6'5". Hosmer chases a high fastball and strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Perez in the 8th.
Hosmer doesn't want to go. He knows that's his last at-bat of the day. He's got to wait all day till tomorrow night to get another one. He's hungry.
Wow, Bud.
How about it?
You missed the attendance by 63 people.
Darn it, I figured there's about 20,000 here. Of course, you've been schooling me, though. You'd kind of give me an idea about crowd sizes here. But
20,063.
thank you for coming. And really, the Royals appreciate it. The ball players, they love the energy, and I do too. Hearing it here, man. tells you you're in some meaningful games in September.
The attendance really hasn't been much different from last year as far as numbers. Not a big spike, even though the team has been a lot better, but the energy has been a lot different. A lot more fans paying attention to the finer details of the game.
Well, Ryan, you've been here for a long time. This has got to be one of the most exciting baseball teams to watch on a nightly basis because of the way they run, their defensive skills. Their offense never really was what they expected. However, they've come on in spurts here and there. And that little girl, she's sweet. She's a little tired, ready for a little nap. But the players really love it. Fans come out, give them their energy.
Saunders in right field, still fighting the sun, and that's the inning. 3-1 KC with Greg Holland coming on. Going for his 30th consecutive save. Miller Lights.
Well, now, I think Will Smith would really be upset if he wasn't one of the stars. But this really made me feel good, even though I'm nobody. But I did have a birthday today. I'm really thankful for that. Ladies, way to go. They also gave me their baseball cards. That was a highlight of my day. But thank you so much, guys, for thinking of me. And Ryan, I thought the cake was really good.
Very good.
But you can't eat the cake without a fork. Let's see if Holland can do his thing.
He has 36 saves, 29 in a row since his last blown save. So going for 30 straight. He already has the second longest streak in team history. Joakim Soria in 2010 saved 36 in a row.
Opponents are doing diddly squat against him. I mean nothing.
Danny Duffy went 3 2/3, gave up 1 run. Will Smith 4 1/3 scoreless with a career high 8 strikeouts. A swing, according to third base umpire Lance Barrett, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Mid-90s fastball and up. He'll sometimes go upper 90s. Split finger slider combination has really been hard to hit. So much easier to talk about than try to hit it.
What about that? No, not this time. 2-2. Holland pitched yesterday. It was a non-save situation. He had not pitched in the Toronto series, so he had a 1-2-3 ninth, closing out a 5-0 win. In the air to left field. 1 out. Dustin Ackley has flied to Alex Gordon 4 times today. Don't forget to vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Just stop by a Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. Salvador Perez may have been hit on the follow through of the swing by Dustin Ackley. It was home plate umpire Kerwin Danley who got the attention of the Royals dugout and said, hey, you need to come out and take a look at his right hand.
He's a beast. Tough as nails. Great hands.
Maybe his palm or his wrist. So 1 out, and now Abraham Almonte, who scored the Mariners run in the 4th inning. And that gave Seattle a 1-0 lead. They haven't scored since. The Royals answered with a run in the bottom of the 4th. An RBI from Mike Moustakas, and then the Royals scored 2 in the 5th. 1 run scoring on a wild pitch, and the other on a sac fly from Bonifacio. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, this is how the Royals win a lot of their games. We've seen it. How many bags did they rip off today? 3 or 2?
2.
Okay. Look good, though.
Splitter.
Okay. Almonte, rookie. Came into this game with only 9 for big league at-bats. I guarantee he's never seen anything like that before.
And the swing would suggest that.
It's really not good. It's easy for us to laugh, but like I said, it's really hard to hit. You're better off not even swinging.
An even nastier pitch. Perez will throw him out, 2 down. Seattle Mariners have 1 hit since the 4th inning. And it's been a big strikeout day for the Royals. That's 13 after Duffy had 4. Smith had 8, and now Holland has 1 in the 9th. So Will Smith waiting in the dugout. He wants to be part of the on-field handshakes. The Royals can get another out. Brad Miller at the plate. He drove in the Mariners run with a triple in the 4th inning. And he goes the other way into left. Alex into a dive. Got his glove on it to keep it in front of him. And then recovers quickly and holds Miller to a single.
You know, Alex, he can't wait till somebody hits him the ball. He's like a magnet on that baseball. He goes to it. And if he leaves his feet and the ball's in front of him, he has the awareness to keep it in front and knock it down. Watch this. Great example here. Some outfielders can't do this. He knew it was going to be a short hop, so he put his glove up.
Ball 1 to Franklin.
That decision is made in midair by an outfielder. And you know you can't catch it, you better get the glove up.
Franklin has walked 3 times and he has struck out. He has some power. He's homered 12 times. Popped up. Escobar wants it. He's got it. The Royals take game 1 from the Mariners 3-1.
Nicely executed, Will Smith. Wow, you got jiggy with it. There's no question about how comfortable you are coming out of that bullpen. Fantastic. Throwing some low 90s fastball and mixing in 2 or 3 different types of sliders that was just unhittable.
So we will call him our Ford player of the game.
And he deserves it. Way to take over after Danny Duffy. That's exactly what Danny would have loved, to see a guy come in there, another lefty, and do the job. 24 years young, 6'5", 250. He pitched like it. Fun to watch. Got some timely hits. That's all they need for a victory to start this homestand.
And Will Smith, and we'll talk to Will in just a moment, but Dice, let's talk about just manufacturing runs and the approach against this pitcher, one of the best in baseball. What was the game plan today against Felix Hernandez?
Just try to get a good pitch to hit, use your legs. He was a great pitcher. I tried my best just to put it on the ground and run.
You were able to do that. Escobar was able to do it behind you. How about that hit and run, which ends up generating the second and winning run of the game?
That was pretty big for us, and with me to get on and Esca to hit one through the hole, first and third, we'll go up. Big things gonna happen right there.
How about the big guy right next to you and his performance?
Man, he did an incredible job.
Let's bring him in. Gerard, good game, and Will Smith, step on in, second time in less than a week that we'll visit with you, and it's the tied for the second most strikeouts ever in a game by a reliever, a Royals reliever. Will, 4 1/3 here today and 8 strikeouts. What was the reason for everything going so well, and how dominant was that slider?
Yeah, the slider was on today, but it all starts with me and Sal. We had a good game plan to go in. We just kept executing it.
You went up head-to-head against Felix Hernandez last year. I know you don't go against the pitcher, but you're very aware of how good he is. So coming in a tight situation like that, how much is that on your mind?
Not really. You just got to go out and do your job and put up zeros and give your offense a chance to score.
Last thing, from a preparation standpoint, we've seen you lately come in late in the game, maybe for just one batter against a Justin Morneau or a big lefty. This is more of a long roll. Do you have a preference and any change in preparation?
No, just get people out.
And you did exactly that today. 8 strikeouts. Great job, Will.
Thank you.
Will Smith, he was the star of the game today. What a dominant performance on the mound. And coming up on Boulevard Royals Live, we'll talk much more about Will's outing, also Danny Duffy's, and we'll get you ready for tomorrow's game here from Ned Yost. Much more coming up, guys, on Boulevard Royals Live.
All right, thank you, Joel. The Royals